Yes, I shortened the title sequence. I told you I would. It was far too long last time. I stabbed myself in the finger earlier and it really hurts. My finger's going... Good job I don't pick anything up with my little finger in it. I don't know. Hello! Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Hey everyone, it's Fox from Model Making Guru here. Hello and welcome to 5 PM on Friday. It's not fat, I know. Well, I was out this afternoon. I had to go and have some tests at hospital, so I couldn't really do the 5 o'clock stream, so I'm doing it late. Now, I'm only doing it late tonight because, as you know, Colin's just come back from hospital and he's having a few days to chill out and rest, so we're not doing a midnight stream tonight, or he's not running the frolic tonight, so I figured I may as well put this at 9 o'clock now and get a couple of hours done. Then if Colin decides he wants to do a stream later on, I'm still around, but if not, it's fine. But at least I've got my stream done. I couldn't do it this lunchtime, so... Yeah, so welcome one and all to another late last minute live stream. I am continuing on with my Horus Heresy Age of Darkness set from the Games Workshop. As you know, it's the big massive box set. It's the first time Horus Heresy's really come... Well, it's not really the first time it's been in plastic, but the first time they've actually, for seriousness, set up Horus Heresy as a plastic line. They've had little Horus Heresy things before, like the burning of Perturaba, whatever it is, and some other little sets, but they've been one-off like box sets. They've now properly got Horus Heresy as a complete game system in the plastic part of Games Workshop. So yeah, so I've got the big box set. I've built so far 22 Space Marines Mark 6 Corvus armour, which include 4 sergeants, or big birds as I call them, 4 Nuncio Vox operators and 4 Vexillarius, or Vexillarii. Vexillari. They carry a Vexillarius on the back, so it's a Vexillarii, I think, the plural of Vexillarius. That's the big flag, it's called the Vexillarii. I know my Latin, my Roman army. But yes, I've got 4 of them, and I've built 2 Praetors. I'm now, because I'm doing them in bits, I've taken a break from them. I've just finished building 10 Space Marines, so now I'm building the 10 Terminators, the Cataphracti. I'm going to take my watch off because it's really quite tight, because it's warm. My arm's a bit fat today because of the warmth. I'm taking my watch off. I didn't need to tell you any of that, did I? Yes, I'm building the Cataphracti Terminators. I've built 2 so far. I have built the 2 sergeants, I suppose they are. You got that dude there, ha-la-la, and that dude there. This one's doing like a Naruto run, which I didn't realise until somebody pointed it out. Now I can't not see that. That's the pose you're supposed to build him as. He's kind of going, come on then, you think you're hard enough? Wah! But it does now look like a Naruto run. Or, if I could get some green stuff, I could give him like a proper Parker coat and could pretend he's being Superman with his Parker coat round his neck like we did as kids. Run along with your coat flapping behind. Moving on. So I built these 2. I am building these and I'm painting them as Space Wolves. I'm doing the whole box set as one Legion of Space Wolves, and you'll notice I've added a little bit of Space Wolf goodness on there, and I've added a little bit of Space Wolf goodness on here. Now, I'll tell you about that in a minute, because if I do some more of this stuff, like that little bit on this side there, this little square thing with the wolf tail, that involved the big saw. Oh, I did some modding, I know. So I built the 2 sergeants, or whatever they are. So I've now got to do 4 or 8 of the actual Terminators, because in each squad you get 5 dudes, one of whom is a sergeant. Now I'm going to give them all the lightning claws, because they're Space Wolves and they should all have big claws, but I decided to give him a shooty gun just because that one specific arm is a really interesting pose, because I can have him like leaning back slightly. He's looking the way he's firing, so he's looking that way. And he's just kind of shooting here. And when I was learning how to draw, and I was drawing all little funny little characters and stuff, I'm doing little comic strips and things. I often did lots of like some very noir type like detective stories and stuff with characters in, and there was always a point at which somebody was like shooting someone, because it was all set in like, you know, modern day America. There was always a point at which in these comic strips somebody would shoot someone, but you'd have them facing the camera in the panel, as it were, that kind of view from the side. Because I just figured out how to draw that one day and decided it was a really cool pose to have someone in, like pointing just off to the camera. So yeah, so I like that pose. And the way he leans forward a little bit. Anyway, yes. Anyway, welcome. Probably only go for a couple of hours tonight, 1 or 2 hours on this particular stream. But I thought, like I say, I'd get one in while I could. I'll quickly just say all the usual stuff. This stream is of course brought to you by my good friends over at emodels.co.uk, my channel sponsors, and your one-stop shop for all your model making needs. If you're watching this, if this was 3D, you'd be getting the real 3D effect right now. All your model making needs, emodels.co.uk, link in the description below. Go and check it out. Go and buy lots of stuff from them. They're lovely people and they do sponsor this channel. And of course, a big thank you to my patrons and channel members who literally keep this channel alive. They literally pay me for doing this. They pay my wages and they mean I can put food on my table and keep myself in kits and things like that. So a big massive thank you to them. If you want to help support the channel and be cool like those kids, you can. You can go to patreon.com/modelmakingguru. The address is there. Or you can just become a channel member and press the join button under any one of my videos. You get loads of content. You get free access to some content. There's exclusive stuff. Members get little icons in the chat. And also, both of them get access to the live 24/7 Zoom Hangout. It's an off-air Zoom Hangout where you can hang out with all the patrons and members from my channel and from Colin's channel, Festa67's Workshop. 24/7, you go in whenever you want, just hang out, work at the bench, and there'll be other people there sometimes to hang out and chat with. Just a jolly good time. And there's an associated Facebook group. There are links in the description below the video to tell you how to get to those two things if you're a patron or a member. So check those links out. And if you are a patron or member and you're not already in the Zoom chat, go and check out those links. Follow them. You'll get the logins and passwords and you can join the Zoom chat. Now, yes, we'll be carrying on. I'll have a quick look and see who is in the chat. Wendy Hickson was the first person in. Big hugs to you, Wendy Hickson. Your rivets, and Kenneth's rivets as well, got to be fair. Some of my friend Kenneth's rivets have seen a lot of use in this box set. Because especially on Terminators, they're covered in rivets and there's no way to get all the sanding done without losing a few rivets. So, yeah, your 0.6s, they've seen quite a lot of use on these. They're about the right size. You can see a couple on that dude there. You can see a couple on the front of his backpack there, and there's where's the other one? I'd put some on his arms there. You can see because those little rivets get sanded away. So yes, they've all come in very handy. So Wendy's the first in, and then Box Fox Scooter's in as well. Welcome to you. We have Cy Reynolds, of course. Welcome, Cy. It's been a while since you've been properly in chat. You've dipped in and out since you've been back in the world, since you've moved house. But welcome to you. He says, "Ooh, model along." Yeah, don't expect much to get done. When Hickson, we have who else has come in? We have Andy McLeish comes in and says Flangenspoffen, yeah, das ist richtig. Welcome, Andy, you crazy mad person. Powerwolf 1097's in. I hope they don't change the formula for the thinner for the contrast paints. I've just bought a load of stuff. Yeah, they've added all these new contrast paints and they've tweaked the contrast paints. And apparently, I didn't know this, Games Workshop has tweaked the shades and they don't behave exactly the same now. And I watched I've forgotten his name. I've forgotten. Anyway, I watched a couple of videos today comparing like the old and the new, and it does seem, at least with things like Agrax and Null Oil, the new shades, they're not exactly the same. They maybe work a bit differently. And some of them are actually, they stain the model less, and some of them they stain the model more. So I'm like, ooh, we have to learn how to use new shades. Why did they have to change the shades? Oh, they were perfect as they were. Yes, so apparently they're more like contrast paints now. But hey, as long as they still work, I'll just have to learn how to use them. Where are we? Who else have we got in? We have Paul Di Tommaso is in. Welcome to Paul. Welcome to you, my friend. Big hugs. We have Ray Aquilina is in from Malta. Hey, Ray. Big hugs to you, my friend. Thank you for coming in. Always nice to see you, Ray. Box Fox says, I sure do love not being able to download a Fallout 4 mod, even though it's only 20.76 megabytes and I still have 50 left. Xbox mods. Oh, yeah, once you get to about 50 to 60 meg left on the allowance in the game, it kind of thinks there isn't enough. Whatever you get, for whether it's 5 gig or 2 gig, I can't remember however much you get in Fallout 4, when you get to like the last 50, or when it says like 50 or 60 meg left, yeah, it's not going to let you download it. It must be reserved for something. It's a bit misleading, that. So yes. Horus Heresy, says Andy McLeish. Exactly. Andy McLeish says it'll be saved data. It could be. Andy McLeish says huge burbs. I don't quite know why. Oh, also Andy says he's better, but the Sprog Weasel is lurking in his sinuses because he had a bit of the chocolate velociraptor. We're getting better, so big hug and get better soon. Also kind of looks like Wolverine, though, to be fair. He does, because they've got all the choppy fingers. They probably make great sushi. Be a great teppanyaki chef. Get him on the hot plate. There you go. Juggle my rice now, you get. Yes, but they're all going to have all the termies are going to have the big claws because they're space wolves. No Nurgle tentacles, says Andy, but have the ability to spit what appears to be toxic sludge. That'll be Nurgle's rot then. Retro Rabbit Studios is in. I'm looking forward to assembling my termites. They are quite good fun, actually. Although, having never built one, I had no idea what to do with the pauldrons at all. Whether they were supposed to be, like, touching each other or parallel. Oh, Cy Reynolds has put a super chat in. Woo! Cy Reynolds says, because I forgot to reapply patronage after the move, pie. Oh, and pot noodles suck, but Jar Jar is good. Is God. I can't do anything about that because you've just given me money. Oh. It'll pop up in the corner in a minute. Any minute now. Any minute now. Stand by. Take your time. Any time now. Any minute now. There you go. Oh, Jar Jar is God. He is not God. Thank you very much, Cy Reynolds. You are very kind. I forgot to say, if you're watching this, by the way, I've got the chat in front of me, and it's all about hanging out with me in chat, because the reason I do these little streams is because I can sit here and do lots of building on my own, listen to podcasts, or I could sit here and do lots of building and talk with you guys while I'm doing it. So that's what I'm doing. But yes, do come and join the live chat. If you're watching this embedded in Facebook or Twitter or something, just click on the YouTube icon on the bottom right of the player. That'll take you to YouTube where you can carry on watching. And if you want to catch my attention, put my name in, do @ModelMakingGuru, and it does that in chat so I can see my name's been mentioned. Or if you want to do like Cy Reynolds, you can do a super chat by pressing the dollar symbol at the bottom of the chat window. It helps support the channel, and I can't miss your comment. Where are we? I'm looking forward to assembling my termites, says Rabbit. Yeah, as I say, I've never done one before, so they're quite good fun, but I really wasn't sure what to do with the pauldrons, the multi-layer pauldrons, because the assembly is a bit weird. It's like, I had to look at the box art and the photograph several times to figure out exactly how they line up, because it's not really clear in the instructions. But I think I got it in the end. I kind of guessed that they have to be not quite touching, but just slightly apart, or at least that's how I'm doing them anyway. So yes. Spitting toxic slugs sounds quite nurgly, says Box Fox. The big choppy hands, the new turbo Ginsu. It slices, dices, makes French fries in Cadian sizes. Cadian sizes. Woo, what do you mean split in half? Too soon, or I don't know. Probably Tabletop Minions, that's the one. Yes, I couldn't remember the name. Tabletop Minions, Uncle Atom, he was comparing them, and I watched someone else as well. I watched a video with some guy who, for no apparent reason, was wearing a mask. He was filming indoors, in wherever he films, with shelves behind him, and he was wearing a full-on, like you know, anti-chocolate velociraptor face mask. I'm like, why are you wearing a mask indoors in your own house? Why? Didn't quite get that. But it was a good video. He did a comparison as well. And yeah, I'll get used to them. But I didn't know why that guy was wearing a face mask. It's very strange. It's like me filming in here, in this room, by myself, to camera, say on a Monday night, but putting a mask on. It's like, I'm not going to send chocolate velociraptor down the internet. I don't know. Very weird. Anyway. So yes, that's up to date with the chat. Thank you very much for that, Si. It's very kind of you. Thank you very much. Pot noodles do not suck, Simon Bartholomew Scriggenhauser Reynolds, says Annie McLeish. Of course, Simon is wrong that pot noodles do not suck. They are food of the gods. Now, we're going to crack on. I do, however, have... I thought I only had a couple of sprues of Space Wolf bits to add to these guys. I actually found I had 4 more. So I've got 4 more Space Wolf sprues, so I can do more adding to bits to make these guys look a bit more Space Wolfy. Now, if you remember, I'll show you the ones I've done. Let me get the other one out. I've only done minimal tweakage to them to make them a bit Space Wolfy. And that was basically, if I can find it, 'twas basically to add something somewhere. I can't find it. It was to add, Simon Reynolds, you would be proud. It was to add to one of the Praetors. I removed... I'm not organised. I shall zoom in as well. I'll do zooming and everything so Simon Reynolds can be impressed and see my awesome work. Notice me, senpai. I took off... If you see on the back of that, he's got the skull, but on the top of the skull, I replaced whatever was on top of it, which was some nonsense or other, with the Space Wolves icon. because it had like a circle and thing round it. Inside the laurel wreath is like a circle with some stars and some jaggedy bits. I cut all that away, just leaving this little bit at the bottom, which looks quite nice. It kind of came out symmetrical. Drilled a little hole in the top of that skull and just jonked that right in the bottom, in the top of it. So he's got that bit. So I've added that to him, and like I said before, the only other bits I had was that little, you know, Tufty Club tail there that I need to take the mould line off, and that little bit from a power axe, which had a tail stuck on it. But now I've got a few more, or I found a few more Space Wolf upgrade sets. I can do more! So I'm going to do more. And I think I'll probably do most of the things on the Terminators, because they're the kind of big dudes. They're the ones that will benefit. Although I've got me Dreadnought I could stick some stuff on, I suppose, as well. I've got him, and if you haven't seen, Cy Reynolds, I don't think has seen that, but I've got my awesome action pose. He's kind of going, I think not, young man. He's using the Force. He's giving someone a Force lightning or something, because he's looking to the side. But yes, so I might do some bits on him actually, before we do any more building of Termies. Where are we up to? Space Marine's armour protects the valuable organs, whispers to Admech. Shoulders are the most important part, right? Says Box Fox. Exactly. I saw the stream where you did the choppings for the benefit of chat. I had complimented him at length in Messenger already for said buildings. Oh, did you? I forgot. I don't remember things. He's a glutton for praise, and that's true. Don't you dare make him do a princess. The last time it required might cleaning teams. I watch, just not live all the time. Okay, cool beans. There you go then. Thank you very much. I don't know. Right, so what I will have is, I'm trying to put my lenses down. I'm not even wearing them. Andy Reynolds says, you stroked his twanger. Ha 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 ha. Let's all get our twangers out. Yeah, never mind. I won't do that again. So we've got some bits and bobs. We have like little necklace things. We have little wolf tails and little jewels and things. So what I'll do is I'll get all the bits off that I'm going to use. I'd love to use the wolf's head helmet, but I don't think you can use that on a Mark 6. And I'll take the power axe off because I'm going to use the bit with the tail on the back. But I could also use some other parts of it, I think. Possibly. I'm not really going to do much to the rank and file troops because that would cost me about 70 quid in extra sprues if I had to go and buy some more. I'm not going to do that. But I've already got these, so I shall make use of these, if you pardon the pun, puppies. I'm not going to use the pauldrons because even though they're exactly the right size compared to Mark 6 pauldrons, they're exactly the same size. Cy Reynolds told me I'd be bad if I did that. So I'm not going to do that because they're not Mark 6 pauldrons, even though they're exactly the same size. They've just got the trim around them. Never mind. Anyway, so, because I was thinking I could use some of these, you see, and not have to use the grumpy things with the bubbles on them, but never mind. Right, so, let's get these bits cut off the sprue, and then we'll have a little stash of Space Wolfy type parts. I shall get, where's my little container? We'll just quickly get these bits off first, then I don't have to keep having these sprues lying around. So I shall take, I'll take that icon. I have got the Forge World set of icons, but they're not like double-sided. They've only got the, like, if this was a Forge World one, it would be that on one side and flat on the other. So what I'm going to do is I've got the Forge World ones. I'll keep them for the Spartan assault tank because I can use them as little things to stick on all over the Spartan. So we'll take that backpack adornment. I'll take this power axe. Am I on camera? Probably not. I'm probably not even on camera because the camera's nowhere near anything. I've got the camera quite close today, so I'll take that poor axe. I could theoretically, Simon Reynolds, could I get away with using a back? No, it's not even the right connector. Never mind. Moving on. Thinking I could use that backpack, but no, probably not. I can't do anything with that, but I could use the tail if I was to cut it off. That's what I did last time. But I'll leave it on there for now, so I'll put that there. I will have a look at chat, don't worry, if you're saying things to me in chat. Little tails. I don't know if these are wolf tails because they're not particularly big. Popped into the Warhammer store on the way back from the hospital today again, and you know, accidentally spent some money. But I was quite. Oh, look at that! It's already broken. I hate that when it already. Oh, it's not quite broken. Okay, maybe it hasn't. Thought it had snapped. No, it hasn't. Awesome. It's almost snapped. You can see the white stress mark. I've got to be careful with that. I'll put a little bit of glue on it. Yes, I popped into the Warhammer store on the way back from the hospital, because it's like literally 3 doors. It's literally about 3 doors down from the hospital where I had to go, and it's literally about 10 doors down from my opticians. So having to go into town to do anything for me it was a risky proposition. And I popped in today to chat to the manager. It's a new manager in there, lovely fella. And I was quite happy to notice that my Stormwolf that I left in there a few years ago, is back in the window display. I took it in there when Chris was the manager, and because I said I'd like it, he can stick it in the cabinets and stuff. And then when he left, and there was a couple of temporary managers, and it went through the routine, it just kind of got put in the back room. And I need to get it back at some point. So I was talking to him about it the other day, and he's put it back in the front window, and I'm like, yes, there's my baby, looking awesome. And dare I say, the best painted model in that window display, I think you'll find. Thank you very much. I'm only joking. Right, little pendants and things that we can stick on. Dude, I know they're not going to particularly be relevant to maybe Mark 6 Heresy era armour, but yeah, it's just little touches that make them look a bit more Space Wolfy. It's better than nothing. Better than just depending on the paint job. I could put some of the heads on, but they've got the wrong mark of stuff around the head, and also I really can't be bothered painting the faces. This is a get it painted, get it sold set, so that's what's going to happen. Do 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 do. Okay, so that. And we've got one more icon here. Yeah, I'm not sure if I should really stick these on the rank and file dudes, because it'd be a bit weird having an icon stuck on the back of a random dude's backpack, but not on everybody else's. It's a bit weird, that. So I shall put those in my little bag of Space Wolf bits. There we go. What's chat doing? Fox is always a princess, says Box Fox. This is true. This is not untrue. Of course he is. Being a drama queen is beneath him. I'm not a drama queen, I'm a princess. I went for some blood tests today, and I says to the nurse, I says, I have to warn you, I may squeal like a big princess. I'm squeal like a big girl because I'm a bit of a princess. And she went, okay, I'll completely ignore it. And she did. I didn't squeal. But I sat in the chair to give some blood test, get some bloods taken. And I sat in this chair, and this chair's like about a foot off the ground. Like the actual bit you sit is about 3 foot off the ground. So my legs are like this, about a foot from the ground. And I'm sitting there, and I'm swinging my legs back. And I said to her, I don't know what it is, if it's just me, but I can't sit in a chair when my feet don't touch the ground and not swing my legs like a 5-year-old. She went, yeah, it's pretty much what everybody does. I watched Mortarmen short the other day. Laugh, I nearly died, and may have brought up a lung. Shall we commence fire, monsieur? There's a private. We are hanging, monsieur. I don't know what Mortarmen is. I don't get it. I don't understand that. That joke may have died a little bit, Andy, because I don't know what it is. Candygram's in. Hey, Jeff. Hi, Fox, Andy, Grandmaster, Sai, Box, Fox, and everyone else in chat. Big hugs all round. Welcome, Jeff. Welcome, welcome. He says, popped in more like it took 2 steps, tripped and landed arse over tit through the window, pretty much. Rabbit says, forgot I undid my pants for maximum relaxage and they fell down when I got up to get a bag of crisps. Good thing the front window blinds are up so all the neighbours could see. That could be embarrassing. I do that. If I've had a big meal or something, I'll undo the top button in my shorts, but I'll keep the belt on. I've got the belt tied up, obviously, but sometimes I do that. But yeah, I've got one of these like belts that's like a canvas belt, so it just loops through, which is nice and comfortable. When you're walking around, it just undoes all the time. It's like you're constantly pulling these shorts. I really must get a decent belt for these shorts. But unfortunately, they design them with the smallest, least tall belt loops in the world that fit nothing except the belt that comes with them. It's really annoying. Paula Landrider's in. Welcome, Paula Land. He says, I think they look like foxtails. Could well be. But they're space wolves, so... It could be very small Fenrisian wolves. There are no wolves on Fenris. Shh. Cy Reynolds says, hello, Uncle Jeff. CK Hobby Shop says, what's up, guys? Welcome, CK Hobby Shop. Welcome, welcome. We're just chilling and illing and doing some space puppies. I might put a couple of things on these Terminator Sergeants. I've put the weird nonsense greebles on the top, but I could always put a thing on top of that, I feel. But we'll see. I think what I might do is keep these all around to one side until the end. When I've got everybody built, then I can start to see where I want to put them. That might be a good idea. But I should put at least some icon on this fella. And I think having at least that on there, the backpack adornment on the top of the missile rack would be a very good choice, I think. I very much feel that would be a relevant option. I think. Doodle-doo-doo. I'll probably have to go on eBay and buy a bag of Space Wolf bits so I can have lots of different adornments. I had loads, but I used them all on the Stormwolf. It's like, oh. I think we'll do that. We'll give him something on here. So I need to do a little tiny hole to put that in on. Maybe. Nonsense greebles are the best greebles. They are. The Bobbins is in. Welcome, Bobbins. Now, if I was Cy Reynolds, he would be like pinning and drilling holes and putting little metal pins in, and that's all far too complicated for me. I don't need any of that nonsense. I just stick it on and glue it on, and bang, there's you go. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, you're in, done. Shut up, go make a cup of tea. There you go. Thank you very much. It's about as much as you get with me. None of this wiring things in place nonsense. It's far too efficient and well thought out. Now I may move the camera back later because I fear it may be a bit close to hand. A bit close up. But do let me know. Hopefully it all sounds and looks okay, by the way, folks. Do let me know. If you're able to stream in that resolution, this is available in 1440p's. You can now watch this with 1440p's if you so choose. Hopefully it looks a bit better. Hello, boom. Everybody's saying hello to everybody else. Hello, everybody else. So I'll stick this on the Terminator because it's quite a nice little greeble, and I've got two of them, but it needs to go on something big. I think I think it's just a backpack adornment, but we'll stick it on his head or something somewhere. I don't know yet. I don't know. I'll try some positions before we glue it into place. It said the actress to the bishop. Moving on. Get rid of that. If this is on camera. No, not at all. Not at all. There we go. Right, let's get rid of this moulding line. Moulding line. Mould line. Anyway, I hope you are all well and fine and dandy. I hope everyone's having a good evening. It's supposed to be a heat wave here at the minute today, but it's just been kind of warm, not been hot. It's been just nice, like 22, 23 degrees. I got up at 9 o'clock this morning and it looked overcast, and I thought, right, I need to go into town. What am I going to wear? Because if I wear a big thick heavy jacket and it does get hot, I'll feel like a complete dingus. I'll be carrying my jacket around. On the other hand, if I wear a thin t-shirt and maybe a light shirt or something, or just a t-shirt, and it suddenly goes cold and wet, I'll be a very moist and complaining dingus. And I was like, oh, I can't quite tell. So in the end, I just put a shirt over my t-shirt, a light shirt, and said, that'll do. A bit of a breeze going on, it's fine. I went into town. It was all cloudy. It was rather pleasant. It was warm but cloudy, but looked like it was going to rain all day. But it didn't. But I looked at the weather app, and it was like, the weather app was like, there may be a chance of cloud at 9 p.m. tonight. I'm like, dude, it's 9 a.m. and there's like, it's Armageddon up there. So the weather app wasn't very good. So yes. So anyway, I hope you're all well. Don't forget, of course, the most important question that anyone can ever ask on one of my live streams is, of course, bench and belly. What's on your bench? What you're working on right now? Doesn't have to be a model. Could be you could be building a sculpture, or even sculpting a sculpture. You could be building a shelf. You might be making one of those like working 1/6 scale engine kits, or a wooden puzzle box. Could be anything. Diamond art. It doesn't have to be a model kit. But what's stimulating your creative juices right now? And of course, what's in your belly? What have you had for your dinner, or what are you going to have for your dinner? What are your culinary choices for the evenings today? What did I have for my dinner? Oh, I made Mama Fox had some sushi yesterday, and today she had what sushi was left from yesterday because she loves sushi. So she had that, which means there's no point me doing any major cooking, because I'm just making for myself. So I just made myself some pasta, some carbonara with some my traditional chopped up into small parts hot dogs, which is quite nice with the carbonara, and some leeks, chopped up leek I put in there, because I sometimes prefer leek to onion. Onion's nice, but sometimes, you know, chopping up a leek into small rings, it's not as spiky as onion, but it's a fuller flavour sometimes. It really flavoured it quite nicely. So, you know, hot dogs, some pasta, wholemeal pasta, big various. There was the twizzly ones and the tubes and some other shapes. I just put them all in one big container. I don't fuss me. And that was my dinner. Most pleasant, most delightful, with some, you know, soy sauce and sweet chili sauce added, and a little bit of soy sauce, dark soy sauce, some mint, some can't remember what the other herb was that I really love. Paprika was added just for flavour. Big dollop of mustard mixed into the sauce. It was very nice, very pleasant. So that's my belly. Bench, of course, is just this. Like I've said before, the plan with this, of course, is to get it built and painted ASAP even, and then get it on the eBay and get it sold. Because that's my plan. Right, so that's nice and clean now, I think. It's always difficult to tell with little small components like this when you're getting rid of the mould line, because you can get rid of the mould line, but you see the little white line where the plastic's stressed as you've carved it away, and you can never quite tell if that's the mould line or just a bit of detail. I mean, a bit of like stressing. Now what I shall do is I shall get my drillularity. I'm just going to make a little indentation into it, just a little indentation into the dreadnought, just so this has got a little hole to sit in. If I can find a drill bit big enough. Where are we up to? Smoky Cowboys in 20 people, 14 likes. People, don't forget to press that like button. Thank you very much. It's a small touch and big help for the awesome and delightful streamer we have here. Thank you very much, Smoky Cowboy. That's very kind of you. Andy McLeish says, a heat wave, you say? Don't need to know about that curry you had, thank you. Box Fox is watching this in 1440 in 144p, cut to a Fox PNG sitting in a bathtub full of peas. Let's have a look. 1440p, so a bag of frozen then, yes. Bench and belly, woo, says Box Fox. Belly says, Candygram, sandwich with wonderful Coleman's mustard slathered on with little abandon. Hang on. What kind? You can't just say sandwich. What kind of sandwich? That just means if you just say sandwich, it's just bread and butter with mustard on it. There's got to be something in there. I had the other day for dinner, because I was being lazy, we got a Subway for dinner, and I got the meatball footlong with extra double meat. I'm not quite sure what the extra double meat was. It was just I just got this mess, basically. It was a challenge to eat, because I had American cheese and a footlong, meatballs, and full salad, and all the. It was very messy. It was very much fun. Which mini do we looking at? Does anyone know? Yes, I am building. I am building the Horus Heresy Age of Darkness box set from Games Workshop. These are some Cataphracti Terminators, and this is the Dreadnought. My brain's not working. Hang on. Contemptor Dreadnought, that's the one. I can't remember the words. It's the big box set. And this is the Contemptor Dreadnought that up until now, was a Forge World resin kit, but now is in plastic. Yes. So it's the big box set. I built, what did I say, 24 Marines I built so far, and I've got about 28 to go. No, 12 Marines I built so far. No, more, 22. I've got a whole mess of Marines to build yet. And the big Spartan assault tank. Right, which drill bit do we have that's about the right dimension? Oh, that one is exactly the right size. Excellent. How handy. Then what we'll do is we will probably put the hole in the wrong place and make a complete arse of this, but you never know. The one thing I've noticed about these guys, though, if you are building this and you've never built Mark 6 armour before or Heresy stuff before, I haven't, so I didn't know. The barrels on the bolters are tiny. Holy crap, they're tiny. So I've had to dig out a really tiny, smaller than Games Workshop drill bit, because the smallest Games Workshop drill bit is far too big for the bolters on these guys. Right, so I'm going to... This might not be much to look at on camera because you're not really going to see it, so let me make a little mark with the pin. Where do I want to stick there? I'm not going to put it there because that's right in the middle of the missiles, you goon. Can't put it there either. I should just put it on top of the missile rack, I think. So I shall... Where's my pencil? There's lovely, there's pencil. That can go there. I'm just going to mark X on the thing, so I know you can't see this. That didn't work. Put this mat out of the way. I could probably move the camera to a better angle when you actually see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to very quickly do it by eye. It's not going to be perfect or anything, but a quick way for me to quickly see where the middle might be. It's about that. And what I'll do is I'll put this on here now. I'll put the drill bit on it. I'll just skitter around and move. Never mind. Probably you see exactly. It won't stay exactly where I put it. So let me make a little tiny pin mark. It's about there. May not be absolutely perfectly in the middle. Nope, that's absolutely not perfectly in the middle, but not to worry. Let's move it to the side a bit. There, it's better. I'm just going to make a very slight dimple with the drill bit, basically. Just a tiny bit for that piece to sit in. Colin would be proud of me for right now. He'd be like, "Oh, you're doing things." No, it didn't really work. It's not really working. I should just stick it on and not worry about making holes. The problem with these micro drill bits is they never have pointy bits on the front. On the fronts, they're just flat, which is a pain because they don't really. So what we'll do? Let's just get rid of that. Let's just stick it on. Stick it on, lad. And now you probably can't see any of this. But them's the brakes. Oh, a little bit of politics. Sorry, didn't mean that. Right, we'll see how quickly I can do this. Probably can't do it quickly enough with this glue, but that's the Tamiya fast setting glue. It's so fast setting it just disappears instantly. And you have to move really, really fast. Kind of in the middle, kind of. I need to straighten it up. I need to let it sit for a second and straighten up. Some more. Now, obviously, in reality, if I was taking my time, and obviously what Cy Reynolds would do, of course, because he does things properly, is you would actually pin that, because even though it's going to be glued on nicely, it's still a real tenuous connection because it's just literally sitting on top. Straight. It's not exactly welded in place, and the moment you've had this in and out of your transport case a few times to play it in game, it's going to snap off. It's a bit like when you get a servo skull attached to the back of a character like a Tempesta Sign or something. It's just held there by the good grace of God knows what, and not actually by any kind of mechanical glue or anything. There's some schmutz on his head there. Clean that off. So yeah, it's not ideal, but it should be fine. I mean, once that's dried a bit, I'll go in with the proper glue, or with the thicker glue. I could super glue it, of course, but then it's still likely to snap off. Thankfully, I did actually glue it on the right way around, because I only realised after I started gluing it on and pressing it down that it only faces one way, the back side, the back of the skull. Simon Reynolds, are you impressed? I wouldn't be. All I did was glue a thing on the other thing. It's not like I did anything complicated, really, is it? No, not really. Guaranteed that won't stay in place. Now, what I'd love to do, of course, is put some furs on this, but I do not have the sculpting skill to do furs. And, again, my desperate need is to get this turned around as quick as I can, to be perfectly blunt. So I can't put too much work into it. I've got to make it look damn good, but I can't sit here sculpting things and crafting it, because by the time I got it up on eBay for sale, nobody'd be playing. The Games Workshop would be out of business and long gone. We'd all be old men. So yes, so there we go. That's looking pretty sniffy, I think. Pretty schnipty. I don't know what schnipty means. There you go. There you go. It's completely Space Wolf now. Minimal. Very sharp nippers tend to lead to less stressing of plastic, says Powell. They do, but I was using my knife blade to scrape off I was using that as well. Where are we up to? I've posted an update photo in the Facebook groups of the Axle and Speedbreaker resin kit I have, says Paul Di Tommaso. Oh, cool. I shall have a look in a bit. I picked up a Wow Stick electric pen drill. So good, said Rabbit. Ooh, not heard of that. I have bought myself an actual drill with a sensitive trigger. It does different speeds, but I've never used it. I think I'd got it because when I do my Squigoth, my gargantuan Squigoth, I need to be able to drill big holes to put like metal rods in and stuff, not something with this nonsense. That's coming off 100%. You should have pinned it, says Cy Reynolds. Yeah, I know. Well, hey, that won't be my problem. That'll be over by, is it? I will pack it carefully and it will not come off. What happens once it gets to its new owner? Yeah. There you go, that's down to them. Ooh, can't pick this. Can't pick it up. Oops, Daisy. Yeah, so it's the kind of thing that you would normally pin, but like I said, I'm kind of trying to do a quick turnaround here, so I'm already a couple of weeks in now and I've built not everything, so yeah. I had occasion when I was in the Warhammer store today, Mitch, the manager, was in the process of building this set to have in the store. So I actually got to look at the Spartan tank, which I haven't actually seen yet. I've not built it yet. And that thing is, it's not as big as a Baneblade, but it's pretty massive. It's pretty hefty. It's most impressive. Most impressive. I'm quite proud of that, even though it's not pinned in place. See, what I could do is, if I was clever, I could wrap some easy line around the bottom of it to make it look like it's kind of got cable and rope holding it in place, and then touch a super glue thin and would then hold it in place even more. And that'd be brilliant. It's amazing what you can do with easy line. I also has a Wow Stick Bro, pricey but so worth it. Good evening, Fox, and everyone in chat, says Jeff Light. Good evening, Jeff Light. What's the drill that I got? Oh, it's a Bosch, this little Bosch thing. The one Colin's got. Variable speed. The Kratos is just as big, bro. Lovely, huge tankularity. Do you know we're now getting the Predator Rhino as well? Getting the Predator Rhino Horus Heresy era. Ooh. It's box with a turret. Right, so, okay, we've done that. So let's just get some dudes built then, shall we? Let's just get some dudes built. So what I've done is I've got the sergeants done. How much what I've actually got in there now? Tell you what, there's these two sergeants and they're just the other guys after that are rank and file. So why don't I've got lots of little tails and pendants. Why don't I give these two sergeants? I haven't got any other sergeants coming out now. I've just got the rest of the Space Marines and the tank. So why don't I give these guys a big sticky up pendanty thing as well? Big sticky up thing, just to make them different. Jeff Light says, how is Colin doing? He's all right. He's back from hospital. He was only in for some routine stuff. He's back from hospital, and he's just taken a few days here and there just to rest up now, to chill out, get himself back up to speed. He's gagging to get back to the bench, to be perfectly honest. See, that can go on there, you see. Now this has got a bigger thing on the bottom, so what I can do is I can actually drill a hole for these. I'll clean them up first. That'd be a pretty good idea, wouldn't it? Yeah, because I've got these two termies, and these are sergeants. Although, what else have I got? I've got my 4 sergeants, but I haven't done anything on them. But if I give 2 of my rank and file sergeants 2 of these, then I've only given up 2 of them, so I might as well use these 2 on these 2. It makes sense to me. Makes sense to me. Trust me, I know what I'm doing. JS Idaho's in. Greetings everyone in chat and Fox. Hello, welcome. I just read all those words in the wrong order, but never mind. Greetings, JS Idaho. I have good results brushing it on, very matte but delicate, says JS Idaho. What are we talking about? Oh, experience using the AK Interactive Ultra Matte Varnish. Oh no, I've got Viejo Premium Matte Varnish. I don't think have I used the Ultra Matte? I might have done. I think I did, and it was alright airbrushed on. Brushed on is probably fine. Most varnishes are fine if you brush them on, like the matte varnishes. I think the AK stuff's probably fine. I think I've used it and it was alright. The only matte varnish I've used that I didn't like was the Ammo by MiG stuff, which was, as is the way with MiG stuff, far too fiddly to use, and you have to get it exactly right. It went all cloudy with me, even though I shook the crap out of it. It didn't mix up together. And it was very weird, it didn't behave in the airbrush very well. But more importantly, the moment I touched the model, it just flaked off. So I'm like, I'm not going to use this again. So I'm on the Viejo Premium Varnish now. It's really nice. The first airbrush matte varnish I've got that hasn't been a pain in the butt to use. Which is nice. I spent a long time looking for an airbrush matte varnish. Right, that's that bit. So did you hear about the new release, says Box Fox? What, the big demon thing? Yeah, I noticed on the leaked photograph of the big demon thing. The big demon thing was never no interest to me. I wasn't interested in that at all. What I was interested in the leaked photograph was the very blurry Cadians at the bottom that don't look like Cadians, and the very blurry corner of something that looks like a tank or vehicle that we've never seen before. That's what interested me, because those Cadians looked well nice. They looked like a bit like, I know they're bringing out plastic Kasachin, aren't they? Maybe it was them, or the new Imperial Guard they're doing with all body armour on them, whatever they are. I like the look of them. But there's a corner, in the corner of the picture, bottom right corner, there's a little hint of something, and it's like, is that a new tank for Imperial Guard? Oh! The focus of the picture was the dirty great big demon, and I'm like, I don't care about that. That's of no interest. Is it a demon of corn or something? I'm like, yeah, I don't care about that. I want to know about these Imperial Guard that actually look like real people rather than lumpy old men. Because if you look at the Imperial Guard, they're kind of stumpy, lumpy old men, real grumpy old blokes with stubby legs. It's very weird. But these guys look like actual humans in human poses. It's really cool. Right, so that's that. Now what we shall do is, I'll get that drill bit back out again. Because it was ever so slightly exactly the right size. I'll start a pilot hole. Now where can I put this? Question is, where can I actually put this? Cy Reynolds, what are these things on top of the armour? Are these some kind of like launcher of some sort, like grenades or something? What are they? Is it a gun? I can't quite tell. I could look in the instructions, it might actually tell me, mightn't it? They are. War gear, combi bolter, power fist, power sword, or cataphracti armour. Oh, is that it? Any cataphractic Terminator in the unit may exchange both his Power Fist and Combi Bolter for 2 Lightning Claws. That's what I'm doing. For every one of them, apart from those 2. Doesn't tell me what these things are. They're clearly not weapons then, I guess. You only get 2 for these guys. Paul Lewis is in. Evening, Fox and all in chat. Welcome, Paul. Welcome, welcome. Angron is back, says Box. Yes, that's the thing. So if Angron is back, who else might they bring back? That's right, our beautiful golden baby boy, Dawn. Grenade launchers, says Idaho. Are they? Okay, so I won't put anything in front of them then. I could put this on the back of it, but it's going to be at a funny angle. Where I can stick this, probably on top of that thing, whatever it is then, I guess is the only place really, isn't it? Okay, let us do that. I think we will do that. I shall make a teeny tiny pilot hole. Sort of in the middle if I can. Probably not going to be in the middle now at all, is it? It might be. Might not be. Getting holes in the right place is really hard. So if I drill a little hole in there. Drill a little hole in there. What I'm probably doing now is massive heresy, but I don't care. I'm just making this up. I think whoever buys this will just be more happy that there's actually Space Wolves in there, Heresy Space Wolves, and they'll pay me all the money in the world for that. I'm hoping anyway, that's my plan. Whether that actually happens, yeah, let's have a think about that. That's not quite in the middle, that one. Darn it. Okay, so let's wiggle that to the side a little bit. No idea if this will work, but it's worth a try. Widen that out just a tad. Now it's in the middle. Right, so we need the bigger drill bit. Bigger drill, bigger drill, bigger drill. Human, why did you buy this box of sand, you mock Khajiit? Oh, sorry, I'll say that again. Human, why do you buy this box of sand, you mock Khajiit? My Khajiit voice isn't working very well today. About the right size. May your feet find warm sands. Widen that hole just a smidge, just a tiny bit, just so I can seat this thing inside it. It doesn't need to be a big hole, it just needs to be a slight depression so that I can seat this puppy inside there. See what I did there when I said puppy? See, Space Wolves, puppy, get it? Get it? I'm a genius and you just know it. You know it. There's a lot of blackbirds out in the garden making lots of noise at the moment. Okay, so that can sit on there. Now it's not really pinning it, I know, but because I don't have anything to pin with, like, you know, pins, but it is giving it a little bit of a recess to grip to a bit better. There we go. So hopefully this is what I was going to do on the other one, but on that Dreadnought, but the place to do it was a lot bigger and I didn't have the hole in the middle, so it went wrong right from the start, which is a bit of a pain. So that can go in there. And the good thing is it kind of goes into the little hole, and the base of the icon kind of disappears into the hole, so it looks like the icon is just built into the bit of pack, which is kind of cool. That's what I did on the skull. So on the skull on that other dude, so that when you see this icon, it doesn't look like it's stuck on the skull at all. It just looks like it's built into the skull. It is one with the skull. These might have a bit better chance of staying on because of that little dimple I drilled. And there we go. Bit more space, Wolfie, now. Siren Reynolds, are you proud of me now for doing the things? For doing the things? You're proud, aren't you? Admit it, Simon Reynolds, you're proud. You're filling up, aren't you? You're tearing up now. Come on, admit it. My skill level, that's quite impressive. I don't know if we'll get to see any hot saw action tonight, though. Maybe. Maybe I'll treat you to a bit of hot sawing. Hot sawing! Now, I did have a bit of disaster last night because I sawed a bit off the power axe with the tail on it, but it actually snapped the tail off, which didn't really work. Which was a shame. Which is why one guy has the thing with the box and one guy doesn't. There we go. Put a little tiny drill bit back in. I don't really need that little drill bit because I've not got any more barrels to drill out. Oh well. Put it there anyway. Let's have a look. Pub Tomas says, Vallejo standard matte varnish doesn't seem to make things matte enough. I don't think I've used that one. Siren says, bad gags are bad. Hang on, if they bring back Rogel Dawn, per the law, all they could find of his remains was his charred, amputated hands. Isn't that like a whole storyline in Doctor Who? I also stand by the Vallejo premium varnishes, Paul. Excellent products. Yeah, these ones, if you can get them, the matte and the satin, they are kind of idiot-proof, and they look really nice. You can put too much on. I'll just, you know, you can go a bit too heavy, and everything looks a bit soft, but it's just great. And you can brush them on as well. I've lost track of the conversation, but it's all between Andy Reynolds and Cy Reynolds, so I'll just... I mean, Andy McLeish and Cy Reynolds, so I'll just ignore it. Fox had a disaster. Tell us something we don't know. Wait, what? Did I? Did I say something and I've forgotten already? Oh, well. Anyway, yes, so I'm quite proud. There you go, Cy Reynolds. Look, how much of a genius. Look at that. I did a thing, and I'm impressed myself. See, now you can tell they're space puppies, especially when I paint them like lightning claws. I don't know how I'm going to paint them like lightning claws yet. I'll figure that out when it happens. Right, so we shall leave the rest of those bits there. What I shall do now is get the rest of these guys built. So I've got them marked as 1, 2, 3 and 4, just so I know which ones I'm building, because I was looking at the different poses. So we'll get these built. So 1 is actually 2, because both the sergeants are pose 1, which is confusing. So we've got number 2. So 11 and 15, Cataphracti Terminator 1, which is pose number... not that one. Oh, okay. Wait, what? Wait, what? Hello, Mama Fox.
Hello.
Hang on, I've confused myself now. One, 2. Okay, yeah, so I'll start from... I'm just... ignore me. It's confusing because you've got pose 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then it's got Cataphracti Terminator Sergeant 1 and 2, but it's both using pose 1. So then this is also then pose 1 if you haven't built 2 sergeants. So we want Cataphracti Terminator number 2. Cash in number 2, please. Now I could give him a weapon and a pointy hand, but he's a space wolf, so he doesn't get that. What he gets is spiky spike, slappy bitch hand. That's what he gets, which is parts number 33 and 32. The only thing I'm not looking forward to is painting the eyes on these helmets, because they are a bit... the details are a bit soft. It's hard to see them. It might be look alright once I've got the actual, you know, a bit of paint on there and some shade. Some wash. 33 and 32. 33 and 32. That'll be 10 o'clock then. Yay. 33 and 32 I want also as well. 9. Wait, what? Oh, I completely missed out step 9, which is to build all the torsos, you dingleberry. Okay, let's go back and do step 9. It's right hidden on the bottom of the page. It's really hard to see. So we've got all the torsos to build. We'll do that bit. It won't take a second. Get that bit done first. 1, 2, 3. Wait, I've got 5. Why do I get 6? Oh, okay. Yeah, I understand. You get 6 torsos, but you build 5 dudes because one of the torsos is the sergeant torso with extra little bit of filigree on it. The rest are all just hoi polloi. So 1, 2, 3. I need 4 of them. I'll go for that one. It doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter. Anyone can see. Get that off there. I've just cut the wrong one off. Hooray! You're an idiot, Fox. You know it. Hey biddy hitty bee. And I'm using my god hands for this, but I'm cutting right at the base of the nippers rather than at the actual point, so should be alright. Folks, you Norman facepalm. What? I don't know nothing. Comcat. Well, they only found one hand. Welcome, Comcat. I didn't notice you there. Snip, 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 snipping all the sprue away. Still excited for Starfield. Is it out yet? God damn it. Where's my Starfield? What I'm excited for at the moment, and what I'm hoping for at the moment, is that CD Projekt Red, what I really need them to do is to integrate the new FSR2 into Cyberpunk 2077 on consoles. They've done it on, a modder's done it on PC, and apparently it was really easy. So I need them to officially do it on PC, but then also officially do it on consoles, because basically a renderer that allows you to, it lessens the workload by image reconstruction, something or other, blah blah, something dark side, but it means you can boost your frame rates because it's taking a lot of the work away rendering. So you can basically, rather than rendering a game at 4K 30 FPS, you can render the game at say 1440p, and because you're doing it low resolution, you can boost it to 60 frames a second, for example, but it looks like 4K because the FSR 2.0 magic is how it reconstructs and upscales the image, the 1440p image, to look like 4K, and then output at 4K. That's the trick of it, you see. It's the upscaling software. And it's the new dog's cojones, apparently. Better than FSR 1.0. Potentially better than DLSS. But it would mean, the reason I get excited about it, it is enabled on Xbox. Microsoft have made it available to developers as part of their development kit, which is good. And it just needs CD Projekt Red to go in and do a little bit of work to get it to work, if it works, because it can be quite a demanding software to run. It's quite a demanding thing. But the trade-off is basically right now on Xbox, on Series X, you can play at 4K 60 or I think it's 1440p 30 frames a second with ray tracing. I don't think, and it's upscaled to 4K in natively by the Xbox. I think, I'm not sure. It might be 4K. It might be 4K 30 with ray tracing, and the ray tracing is just really ray trace shadows. It's not like full-on ray tracing. But the problem there is, of course, it's really slick at 60 FPS. And playing it at 30 FPS on the Series X is a bit of a cluster. It's not very nice. It's really quite artifacty and streaky. Now when you play it on the Series S instead, you get 1440p at 30 frames a second, but there's no ray tracing, but it actually looks vastly superior and smoother because it's not having to do the ray tracing. So what gives you the chunkiness in on the Series X is the ray tracing. It's not an unstable 30. It's a solid 30 frames a second, pretty much. It's just there's a lot of artifacting in the visuals. It's not pretty, basically. It struggles. So when a car drives past, you get like almost like a light shadow. I've got to put these rivets back on. You will take off these rivets, by the way, when you sand all this, unless you're really, really careful. If you can get yourself some rivets, or make some rivets, or get someone to make rivets for you, you'll find them absolute boon on these Terminators. So yeah, my hope is that somehow they can get FSR2 working on Series X, or even on the Series S as well, for 2077 for Cyberpunk, in such a way that it doesn't affect the performance, but it then allows you to play at 60 frames a second and with ray tracing. That would be the dogs, that would. Because it looks beautiful. It looks fantastic. It's only ray traced shadows. It's not like, you know, ray traced full on illumination or reflections, but it's ray traced shadows, and it just makes everything look a lot more alive. And it's a real shame. And I actually suffer the poor movement and weird artifacting just for that. Put them rivets back on, just check that's nice and smooth. Yes. So that's the hope anyway, that it would allow them to do 60 FPS ray tracing rather than the 30 FPS on Series X. Because on Series S it's 1440p at 30 frames a second, but there's no ray tracing option. You just have that one resolution basically, that's it. There's no options at all on Series S. But theoretically it would mean then they could, for example, what they could do, what they would basically have to do is, for example, what they might do is on, say, Series X, say you can render it at native 4K, 60 frames a second. You can render it at native, this is what they might do, what they could do, native 4K, 30 frames a second with ray tracing. Or they might say, how about 1440p at 60 frames a second with ray tracing, but then it's upscaled with FSR2 to 4K. So it would look pretty much like 4K. So that way you get the quality plus the 60 FPS frame rate. I was never a big fan of, I always liked 30 FPS. I don't really mind normally 30 FPS, but with Cyberpunk 2077 on the Series X, it looks like a mess. It's a hot mess. You get used to it, but like when you jump, all the lights kind of streak and it's like, oh. You don't really see it on the Series S because, like I say, it doesn't have the ray tracing in there. And I think it's the ray tracing that's adding all the extra work that's creating the visual artifacts. Because you don't have that when you play it without ray tracing. But yeah, I've never really been to 60 FPS, but now I can actually play games at 60 FPS. I can see the benefits of it. Always looks a bit weird to me there. What are we doing? Right, this one. But I hope they get that, because I'd love to play that game with the ray tracing on at 60 FPS. It's so smooth. So smooth! Round and earthy. But yeah, Starfield out yet. Starfield out yet. Starfield out yet. God damn it. I shall have a look at chat in a second. Something apparently is super hard and very brittle. I don't know what that means. I mean, I don't know what you're talking about, because I haven't been looking at chat. Yeah, these little rivets, they just get sacrificed to the god of sanding, but I can easily replace them. That's what I've been doing. This is where your rivets are coming in super handy, Wendy, on these Terminators. Terminators. Get to the rivets. The T1000 would definitely try to sand you there. I would. It's a little Terminator joke there. You found it vastly amusing, didn't you? Of course you did. Of course you did. News update. I can confirm. As you all know, I was 50 in December. 50 years old. Old man. And everybody made the joke about how when you get to 50, everything will break and fall off and you'll just get all the illnesses and complaints. And you know what? They're absolutely right. Absolutely right. In the last, 6 months, I've got... My left arm is constantly in pain and I don't know why. I think it's because I used to sit with my hand behind my head. I used to relax with this hand, behind my ear, just round back of my neck. I'd sit with my arm up. It was a relaxing way for me to sit. I think that's kind of neck of my arm. It'll take a while for that to go away. I've got some mysterious kind of rash on the back of behind my left ear that I've had for 2 years. That doesn't really count, but it's got itchy now. I've clearly got I don't know, thrips or canker or something, or vine weevils or something. I don't know, something I've got going on. My left foot, for no reason at all yesterday, my left foot became really swollen and painful. Then when I got up this morning, it was fine. No idea what that was or why it was swollen and painful, and why for some reason, sleeping seemed to cure everything at the minute. That's the one thing I'll say. Whatever happens, I can seem to be able to sleep it off quite easily. I don't know why. Right, let's build some torsoage. Get this nonsense out of the way. Time to build some torsos. By the way, folks, if the camera's in far too close, do let me know. I can pull it back a little bit. I don't know how this viewing angle's working for you. I'll quick look at the chat first. Comcat says hello. That or being a Centurion teddy bear for Daddy E. I've got no idea what the conversation's talking about. Would you ever consider sharpening the god hands to prolong their lives? Asks Bill Cropper. Hey Bill. I would do if I knew how to do it. But you have to remember that I am a certified idiot. And I would probably end up either stabbing myself with them or just breaking them. So one thing I do like to do, which is awesome, is clean them. Like this. I give them the normal oil clean, which is basically get your sanding sponge and just do that. Doesn't sharpen them, but it makes them look much better. And they look kind of weathered as well, because for some reason they tarnish. They don't corrode, but they, when you've had them for a month, they go really tarnished. I don't know why. They go all dark, and it's obviously some kind of some oxidization or something. But if you then sand them, you get all the edge highlights back and they look really pretty. It's quite attractive. And it just looks like it's been washed with normal oil. Which is why you can see why normal oil is so cool, because that's what normal oil makes things look like. You've got the nice clean edge highlight there, and then this kind of graded, faded bit of darkness, and the same on there. I love it. I like sanding them occasionally, just doing that, because it just makes them look great. But sharpening them, no, I wouldn't have the nerve. I dread the day when I break them, because I've got no way to replace them. So riskiest heck to do. God hands are super thin metal, says Comcat. God hand offers a sharpening and replacement service, but it's Japan only. Yeah, no, I wouldn't do it. They're also very soft. I seen someone's God hand explode during use. Why are they tracing Ray? What did he do? Andy McLeish says. Andy McLeish says they're super soft. When he says soft, he means they can chip and crack. No, don't send me there, says Box Fox. Oh Lord, model making guru, have you never seen Emperor text to speech? Absolutely I have. I loved it. I thought it was hilarious. I stopped watching it after a while, but no, I thought it was absolutely hilarious. Like the custodies, and like how one of the custodies goes off with Magnus the Red. It's great. I liked it very much. I love the there's one bit where they go in and they've got like a, what's he called? The head of the Mechanicus. Whatever it is, I can't remember anyway, the rank. And he's there, and he talks in this kind of like electronic musical sing-song. It's like really cool. Yeah, no, I loved Emperor text-to-speech. If the Emperor had, if you've never seen it, when you finish watching it, go and look up on YouTube. I can't remember the channel, but it's like if the Emperor had a text-to-speech device, and it's just these little series of short films using cutout kind of animation, and it's as if they've hooked up a text-to-speech device to the Emperor, so now he can communicate with people, and he's just like, he's not happy with any of it. He's not happy. Oh, Centurion Teddy Bear, right, I've got you, that's where he comes from. I've got you, yes. I didn't quite get the reference. It's been a while since I've watched it. Evening All, says Phil Lewis. Welcome, Phil. The God hands are very fine and brittle. Try to avoid cutting anything sizable near the tips. Yes, never, ever, ever cut with the tips. When you do occasionally see me cut from the sprue with these, I do it very occasionally, only where there's a very fine and thin connector point. I'll always make sure the bit of plastic I'm cutting is down there. Never at the tip. Never, ever at the tip. There's a few times when you have to do that, and I've had no choice, and I've just been lucky they've not damaged, but yeah. But yeah, I've had them for about 4 or 5 years now, 5 or 6 years, I've had them for ages. Somehow I managed to survive. But I do dread the day when they break, because here in the UK, they're not impossible to get, they're just ridiculously expensive to get, because there's no actual UK source for them. You have to get them from wherever, Japan, and then you've got to pay the cost of the nippers again just for the shipping. It's like, oh, ouch. Right, let's do some gluage. Get to the gluing. Going to glue you now. The T1000 would definitely glue it there. I would. Now I don't need to do any squeezy on these, because the only areas where there's a joint line is like there, where it's 2 different panels anyway, here where the arm's going to go, and then there on the shoulder, but that's covered up by the pauldrons, so you don't need to do any, like, you know, squeezing to get the glue to come out to hide the gap. You just don't need to bother with that. It's quite good. But yeah, if you've got access to rivets or a rivet making tool or someone that can make rivets for you, you'll need them on these, because you will lose rivets when you sand these and clean them up, like on that backpack part and on the arms. When you're trying to, like, there's a nub right on the edge, on the side of one of the arms, and it's right next to a rivet on the end of a piece of the armour, and you just can't, unless you like sanding with microscopic sanding pieces of paper or something, you just can't. You can't sand them away. You can't get rid of it without actually risking taking the rivet off, which is fine if you can replace the rivets. If you don't have access to a rivet making set, if you want one, I do have them in my US. Well, I've got one in my UK Amazon store. It is the RP Tools with a Z, RP Tools rivet making set. It's not cheap. It's like 100 odd quid. You can use it to make rivets just from bog standard plastic. It's basically a punch and die set for making, it's a punch set for making rivets from thin plastic card. You can get one of them. Make yourself some rivets. If you don't want to do that, if you can't get one or you haven't got that kind of money to throw around, you can, if you can get some very fine plastic rod, like, you know, get some evergreen plastic rods, you can simply just slice them. Or you could, if you wanted to, if you want really fine rivets, you could stretch some sprue. Get some sprue over a heat source, like a little flame, and stretch it to make a rod, and then just snip and get your knife and just and make some little tiny discs. You're basically chopping the rod into little tiny discs and making yourself some little rivets. That's the kind of the easiest way to do it without spending a fortune. There may be spending ahead, but there is one in my, I couldn't get, I think there's one in the US store, but I'm not sure. I couldn't find one in the Canada, in my Amazon Canada store. All the links from Amazon stores in the description below the video, so feel free. You're helping out the channel. I don't think I could find one in the Canada store, and I'm not sure if I could find one in the American Amazon. It might just be UK only, I think. Evening All, says Phil. Oh, we've done that one. Everything. Buy a leather punch, those will work, says Box Fox. That could do. Although you've got to be able to do things like tiny little 0.6mm jobs, which I'm going to do now, which are like that size. I think it's a fine precision punch set basically. Right, so we got these done. I sanded that. If you notice, when I sanded these, I took the little rivets off the corners there. So we need to put those back now. Have I just found? There's a mould line on that one there, but just that one. Not on the other one, just this one. And just on one side. How very weird. Right, so we need to put these rivets back. So very carefully, not knocking this over at all, because I haven't done that 3 times already this week. Making sure I never have to put the glue brush over the top of the bowl of rivets. Get my glue ready. I ain't really going to be able to see this very easily, but I'll do it so you can see it. Right, there it's there. Right, so here we go. I like doing rivets, it's great fun. Get a rivet on the knife. Oh, nope, that didn't work. You just push it on gently so the rivet stays on the end of the knife. But this is how I do it anyway, on the end of the knife blade. Tiniest touch of glue. That's where I want the rivet to go. And then just plonk the rivet down. There we go. There we go. So high pitch then, I do put. There we go. What's all that about? Sometimes you might want to put an extra little tiny touch of glue just to lock it down. You only need the tiniest microscopic touch of glue to get most of it off of the brush. Same again. Do that. Tiny touch of glue. Done. And these are just made out of plastic card. They're just little tiny. There's Wendy Hickson in chat made these for me. They're little tiny slivers of, like, she got some plastic card. She taps them out. It takes forever. But you get some rivets. So I've got 6 more of those to do. Now Wendy is making myself and Colin some more. Wendy, we do insist that you let us know what you want in exchange for them. Because Wendy was very kind and gifted me these rivets. I've lost my rivet. But it's a lot of work to make these things. So we do insist on either giving you some money or something for these, Wendy. So do let us know what we can do for you, whether it's just PayPaling you some money, your time and for the plastic card, or whether you want us to send you something again in exchange, like a barter. I don't know, send you some veteran guardsmen / deathcore dudes if you want, because we know you like your deathcore, or whatever you want. PayPal you some money if you want. But Colin and I do insist. She goes quiet when we say this. She pretends she's not there. But we know she can hear us, because she's lovely as Wendy. But it's such a tedious job making these things that I can't put through that again. Oh, stop falling off the blade. These little tiny ones are quite notorious for that, actually. There's one. I find them on the bench. They don't get lost because I find them on the bench. Oh. The little tiny ones can be quite tricky to keep on the blade because they're only little tiny baby ones. You just move the blade around a bit and it falls off. But I love doing this. I love doing rivets. I don't know why. Just something satisfying about it. And I never used to do any kind of custom stuff like, you know, chopping bits off or chopping bits on or adding things onto stuff, until my friend Kenneth in Australia sent me my first batch of rivets, which I've got millions of those as well. I've got billions of them. He sent me those, and when I got them, that was when I had my first Bane blade, and he said, I'll send you some rivets. So he's got the RP tool set, and he made me those. Thank you very much, Kenneth. And I can't pick this one up. Getting them rivets, it was like the start of something, because I'd never been into doing any kind of modding or, you know, anything like that, or like I say, like Colin does, chops things about. But just the simple act of sticking the rivet on, I was doing my Bane blade. I'd do things like, I'd stick a rivet where I sand away a rivet and put a replacement on. And then I'd be like, well, you know what? There's a big gap in the panel there. Why don't I just put a bit of plastic card, fill that gap, and then I can stick a rivet on that plastic card, make it look like it's meant to be there. I'm having trouble. You know, so rather than just blop a piece of filler in, I'll put a piece of plastic card, like a strip of metal, stick some rivets on it so it looks like it's meant to be there. And that got me hooked on doing little things like bits of plastic card and stuff. So now, I hate using filler to fill gaps. So especially on like 40k stuff where it can be dirty and battered, where I've got like a little panel gap, instead of filling it, I'll do things like that. I'll use plastic card as and rivets and things just to hide gaps and stuff and just make things look more interesting. There we go. There's 8 rivets done. Replace them. I'll probably have some on the arms to do as well. La 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 la. La 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 la. Can't hear you, says Wendy Hickson. I don't think. I don't know. I'm going close up to the camera, but that's not the microphone, is it? I know you can hear me, Wendy Hickson. And everybody in chat, please remind Wendy Hickson that me and Colin need to give her something in exchange for these rivets. Annie McLeish says, the same delivery from Kenneth that also included the open baby huntsman prank. Yes, that was awesome. And that was a baby huntsman. It wasn't big. He sent me this wooden box that said RP Tools on it. And when I slid the box open, it's got a mechanism where this rubber huntsman spider goes like that onto your hand. Of course, I didn't expect it at all. And it's like this big. I may have squealed like a terrified schoolgirl live on a live stream. It's in my mail. If you've never seen my mailbag, all my videos have playlists. When you're finished here, go to my main channel and go to playlist, and then select created playlists. You see them all. Or if on the front page, there's an option for that anyway. And there's one called mailbag or mystery package time. It's in there somewhere. Yes, it was most embarrassing thing. The Eagles is in, says, hi Fox, wave, 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 spider, spider, spider. Si Reynolds says, that spider was hilarious, that and when you got broken by Stream Boss up there as your funniest moments. That's true. When Si Reynolds put a grand through on my Stream Boss. The Stream Boss is like a thing where you could like do little, you could like you do with a super chat, you could do little tips and it would do stuff, and it would like take the money. You put like a grand through. But what made me the best thing about that Stream Boss was that Si Reynolds put a grand through, and then got absolutely told off by his other half. You suffered for that, didn't you, buddy? I appreciated it even more when I know you got you got told off for that. You got a little bit bollocked. It's your money then. Do what you want with it. Yeah, that kind of broke me. £1,000 of like tips and stream boss stuff. It was like, whoa. Every time I fill a gap with sprue goo, I have the urge to eat some of the goo, says Powerwolf. That's what we call in the business not normal, not something you want to do. Don't do that. There's nothing edible in there. Try not to make sprue goo with brown plastic, and so it looks like chocolate. That's probably a bad idea. I've managed to get rid of this nub without taking away the rivet. That's good. Are we on camera now? Of course we're not on camera, you spoon. That went well. I got rid of that nub without taking the rivet away. The difficulty when you sand it now. I've got small sanding sticks, but not rough enough. If I lose a rivet, I can put it back. Hold it up to the light. There you go. I mean, I am going to be weathering these a little bit. They're not going to be like factory fresh armour on these space wolves, so I don't mind if there's a little bit of rough texture here and there, because that's just wear and tear. I mean, come on, these are slappy bitch hands, or bitchy slap hands. I don't know which way around it should go. Of course, they're going to have wear and tear on them. Right. Let's get this cleaned up now. Yeah, that Stream Boss thing. Stream Boss was really good fun, but the problem with it was it made my tax return a living nightmare. Yeah, it just made my tax return really, really more it was like more hassle than it's worth. I'm like, I can't go through this stress every time. No. can't remember, what did we used to do? Did I used to do like, what? I can't remember how it worked. Did you guys get something from it? I can't remember how it worked now. Oh yeah, that's right. Whoever was the stream boss won a load of stuff. I think it ended when I had to stop sending packages out because I was spending a fortune every month. I was spending my Patreon income every month on sending prizes to winners and things. I've forgotten how I've done it now. It's been a couple of years. I don't remember how it worked now. I can't remember. It doesn't really matter. Ow, stab. Lightning claw. Yeah, no surprise there then. If I stab myself with the power claw when I'm cleaning the power claw, that doesn't really count as stabbity because everybody's going to do that. There's no way not to get stabbity. It doesn't count as stabbity, if you know what I mean. Like jabbing a blade in myself. I did it earlier on. I was like doing something and I was sat there and for no reason my hand just went like that. Jabbed into. It wasn't like I slipped when I was doing something. No idea. Beware the pipeline. All it takes is one rivet and soon enough you'll be cutting up models in non-GW sanctioned ways. Ultramarine fans fainting in the background. Let them faint. They know nothing of creativity, Sandy McLeish. But it looks like a delicious sandwich spread, says Powerwolf. Ooh, sandwich spread. Shipham's paste, it is not, says Andy. Okay, I've placed an order with the local shop for a bottle of the Vallejo Premium Matte Varnish 1017 CAD after taxes. Oh, sorry, $10.17 after taxes. Yeah, you'll like it, mate. You'll like it. I tend to spray it about, I think about 17 psi because it's a bit thick and gloopy. It's not like a thin varnish. Shake the living crap out of it. Put some stirring balls in there, as Ammo calls them. Put some mixing balls in. Give it the biggest shake of your life. Start about 12 psi and see if that works. If you're airbrushing it, you might need to go higher because it's a bit thicker. And just do a few misty coats, and you should have a good finish on it. You can splap it. You can splap it on thickly as well, and it can dry quite nicely. But I've never quite had the balls to do that. I always build it up in thin coats because I don't want to, mess anything up. Fox did a stab, not at the moment. You had a certain amount of HP, which was also a financial amount you'd been tipped. Whoever took the last nubbin of HP took the pot to spend on to wear. Oh, that's it. Yeah, that's it now. Oh yeah, in that case, that did cost me nothing because. Yeah, it was they won a budget to spend at Games Workshop, which didn't cost me anything in shipping. There was a reason I stopped doing it, though. I can't remember now. Oops. I think by and large, I think it was possibly just that people stopped doing it because I stopped doing quite so much content because of things like looking after Mama Fox and some of the various things that have really impacted my content creating for the last couple of years, which hopefully I'm starting to turn around now. Hopefully, I'm still doing the looking after Mama Fox bit. I do apologise for that, by the way. To all my loyal viewers who stuck around. It has been a tough couple of years. With Mama Fox taking ill last year, that's basically a year just gone where I've had no availability to do any proper filming. And when I have, I've not really been in the headspace to do it. So it's been a tough couple of years, but it's been a tough year and a half with Mama Fox. So yeah, just filming's just disappeared completely at the minute. And I do apologise for that. I hate that fact. But at the moment, it really just is the simple case that I can quickly cobble together a live stream with the limited time that I have between doing stuff for Mama Fox, but I can't commit to filming because filming's a long, slow process, and if I'm in the middle of doing something and I have to suddenly stop, I can't go back and reassemble the part I've just assembled or repaint the thing I've just painted, so it's not quite simple. But live streams I can sort of squeeze in. I know when I've got some free time to do it. It's been quite tricky. But I do appreciate the fact that you guys have stuck around. I try and do as much as I can. I try and do as much live as I can just to make sure there's content for you. I know it's not painting tutorials and stuff. They are coming back, don't worry. Everything you've seen me buying over the last couple of months It may look like I'm squandering money on more kits, but I'm not. I'm actually buying them and putting them in the stash for painting guides and for selling things. Not everything's to be sold. Like, I'm not really going to be able to sell RK on the Everchosen because I don't even know how you'd pack that. So that'll probably just be a filming guide. But you know, I've got a couple of Bane Blades that I got there, and that's build and sell. But also, I need to film one of those. I do need to get back into that. I've got to do the. I've still got the Imperial Knight to do for Games Workshop, and I keep trying to start that, but again, it's just circumstances work against me. Oops. Okay, that rivet is still there, so I managed to clean that hand without getting rid of all the rivets. Woo! That name again leaves Mr. Plough. Right, so that's the grabby, that's the slappy bitchy hands done. I think. They do look really weird, these arms, because it's like you've got the shoulder joint there and then just the hand. It's like, it looks really weird. So we want to do pose number 2. Cashier number 2, please. And just for the sake of speed, I'm not going to veer away too much from the poses they suggest in the instructions, because again, I'm just trying to get this built, so I'm not too fussed. It's 4, 2, there we go. So this guy's going to have, he's doing like he's walking like a werewolf kind of walk. He's doing the kind of like monster movie, walking like the movie monster. It looks like he's kind of going. Arr. There's actually a video on YouTube of a guy who's. Why are these arms different? That's weird. When I did these 2 sergeants, their arms have little kind of rings of plastic there, but these ones don't. So I just noticed that. That's weird. Okay, that one does. That one does. That one does. That one doesn't. Cyrenals, why have some arms got those little rings and some don't? What does this mean? The ones I've cut off for this guy don't have them. I don't know what that means. It's like a little tiny spacer. Pizza's here, pepperoni, green olives, and extra cheese, says Paul Di Tommaso. So Paul Di Tommaso knows how this works. He knows we need the ingredients. Why have some of these arms got little holes in them and some don't? That's weird. You have done brokens. What do you mean I've done brokens? What does that mean? The stream's fallen over? Oh, I don't know what you mean. Well, it could just be the way they're moulded, I suppose. Seems a bit weird. Oh, well, they work anyway. Don't really matter. Fox has had a stab called the Ambulance. Ambulance sirens. Woo, says Box Fox. How to pack it carefully, says Andy McLeish. Nitwit. Rivet. Yes, so like how to pack, say something like Archaon the Everchosen or Kairos Fate Weaver, which I picked up the other day accidentally. When I went to get some new glasses, order some new glasses, and kind of came home with a load of Warhammer stuff. Don't know how you pack them. I do not know. I mean, the manager at the Warhammer store was saying, well, he said bizarrely, Kairos Fate Weaver fits perfectly in a Crusader case if you take everything else out and use all the foam. I'm like, yeah, it's an expensive way to pack it though. I mean, I don't mind sticking things in a skirmish case, but a whole Crusader case for one model. Right, I want 30. Just make sure I've got the right arms there. 33 and 32. Yes, I have. I think. 31, 30, 33, 32. Yeah, I have. Just not. It's just that they don't look like they do on the actual artwork. It's not looking the same, which is weird. That's Doesn't look quite the same as the way he has it. But it's the right arm. It's the left arm. That one goes like that. Okay, so this guy just looks like a movie monster, horror monster type thing. Okay. I think what I'll do is I'll glue the arms on first, and then that will determine and dictate a pose, I think, for the torso. I don't like them just standing there facing forward. It's boring. No self-control, eh, Fox? You had to buy something. Let's just say I was given the opportunity. I had some funds made available to me by a third party, very kindly, who said, go to the Warhammer store and buy something on the way back. And I'm like, okay. I'm not going to say no. That would be stupid if I said no. It's a really like monster of the week kind of pose this guy's going to have. Man in suit, man in suit. Yes, I'm not looking forward to painting the eyes on them, I've got to be honest. I know that's off camera. I'm just where the glue is. I'm using my left hand, which is kind of weird. Looks like he's kind of going, this way please, gentlemen, ladies, this way to the auditorium. Bridal groom, sir, bridal groom. I'm an idiot. Right, so let's just get them to sit for a minute. Looks like he's got mole hands. These look more like mole hands than like any kind of dangerous raptor claw type things. They really do just look like mole man hands. Curse of the mole man. That's not what it looks like there. Okay. This is going to be the most dumb... Well, I say that, I've not built the other ones yet, but this is going to be probably one of the most... I don't know how, but I keep ending up with like the figures that I make that come out in really camp poses. It's not even intentional. It's like a Cecil B. DeMille flipping dance sequence going on. Now, if I do him to the side like that, it's like got a proper like B-movie horror pose. He's like rawr, rawr, like a proper like Curse of the Were Mole or whatever. That's a proper B-movie pose. If you do it that way, it's kind of, he looks like he's going. But if I do it that way, it's kind of like proper Attack of the Zombie Terminator type monster of the week nonsense. I'm going for that. But you know I'm going for that pose. Of course I am. Monster of the week pose. Yeah, it's not really no self-control though, I suppose, me for Paul, because for me it's a business expense anyway. Because these aren't even things I'm buying for myself, really. I'm buying them to either sell them or I'm buying them to film them. So, in a way, it's buying stock for the business. This is what I do, you know what I mean? So, I can't think. Oh, actually, that would be a stupid thing. I was about to say I can't think the last time I actually bought something for myself, but that'll be today when I got some Space Wolf stuff for my actual Space Wolves. So yeah, shut up, Fox. That's the weirdest pose. That's the best pose ever. That. It's like if you pretend they're not claws. It's like some guy trying to cosplay in like a bird costume. I think having him leaning back like that, like he's some kind of like zombie. Oh, I've turned my Terminator into a zombie. Oh dear, I'm an idiot. I cannot be trusted with anything. Mole Men as Space Wolf successor coming soon now with 20% more squats. Oh god, yeah, Space Moles. Imagine that. They're a successor chapter from the Death Corps because they're masters of tunneling and siege breaking. That is such a comedy pose. Did the salesperson in the Warhammer shop look oddly similar to your optician or vice versa? It would answer so many questions. No, it's on the way back from both the hospital and or my optician. Are both kind of very close to the local Warhammer store. It's quite a bad state of affairs. Anything I have to go into town for, where I park, I have to walk past the Warhammer store every time. It's not good. It's not a good situation. 11 and 15. What? Oh, I see. I'm getting confused by the instructions there. Right, so Cataphractic Terminator 2 says 11. It says 12 and 15. So 12 is this bit, how to build the body, and then 15 is this bit at the end, how to build the extra bit. It's very weird the way they've laid them out, but it kind of makes sense if they've done it for space saving. Wait, that's not what? That's not. That's. Okay, actually, I don't understand that. Never mind. You know what? Should we just make some stuff? They've all got the same heads and pauldrons anyway. It's all the same stuff. Let's just swing it, wing it, and swing it. So, what time are we on? Come up to 11 o'clock. I'll stick the head on this guy, because all I've got to stick on him now is the pauldrons, the head, and the tilting shield. Tilting shield! So, let's quickly do that, and then we'll call it a night for the stream. Now, with the heads, what I did was, on each, you get 2 sprues, and each sprue is 5 dudes, and on these, for the sergeants, I've used the head with the little sort of vent on the top. So I'll use for the other guys just and other head. I'm not really too fussed which one I use. I'm not going to use the face exposed head because that requires complicated painting nonsense. Not going to happen. So I'll cut a head off for him. Random head. Let's give him... I don't like the heads on these two. They look kind of dumb. The Corvus helmets, they look mint. So I want 60. So what do I want now? For the pauldrons, I want 60, 61, 62, and 63. 60, oh, they're all the same, aren't they? So 60, 61. Thankfully, this is quite a quick step now. Doodle 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 doodle. 62 and 63. There is a 63. And there is a 62. And I forgot to get a 60, whatever it was. Let's have a random tilting plate of random choice. Doesn't really matter which one I use. I'm not quite sure why they need a tilting plate. That's the kind of thing that knights use when they joust. And Imperial knights have, but hey. Right, which one was that now I cut off? 1, 2, 3, 4. 60. 60 and 61. That's 61. Where's 60? It's there. Oh, you got the wrong sprue. That's what I got wrong. There we go. Maybe a rivet I need to replace on these pauldrons, but that's not so bad. It's just, I'm not going to put the tidy mat down. Looks like a villain out of a Scooby-Doo cartoon, doesn't it? Why? Old man Muggety from the abandoned amusement arcade fair thing. Old Man Smithers, that's it. I actually have in my collection of comic books and things that I got when I was growing up. I was never into comics, but I had various, annuals and books and stuff. And from somewhere I got a Scooby-Doo annual like a hardback book. And it had like 5 or 6 stories in it. And if anybody's seen this, you'll know it's got one of them is like, it's where there's a search for the fountain of youth is one of them. And it's there's nothing like amazingly amazing about it, just other than the fact that it's all black and white artwork, and the artwork is beautiful. It's so beautifully drawn and clear. I'll have to try and dig it out, because it's just line art. It's just like, you know, black and white line art. No cross-hatching or anything like that. But I was still in my learning to draw phase at the time. And there's a bit where they're driving around in like a dune buggy, like a beach buggy. And it's so beautifully drawn and crisp and clear. And yet it looks like it's drawn with a brush. It's got the flow of brushwork. But it's also got like the wheels on the car, the tyres are perfectly like in perspective and round. They're not... It's just incredible. The artwork was amazing. It looks exactly like, you know, Hanna-Barbera. It looks exactly like Scooby-Doo. They've not done anything radical, but it's just the way it was drawn. It's really beautiful, technically impressive, so clear. It massively influenced me a lot when I was learning how to do like ink and watercolour drawings in the ink style. It's like, I can't remember who the artist is, but wow. I can't remember. It was Scooby-Doo Annual 1980 something. I can't remember now. If anybody have had one that's got the book, and one of the stories is to do with like the search for the fountain of youth, and there's some like ghost of a conquistador that tries to scare people off. I think that's one of the stories. It's that one. It's that book. It's amazing artwork. I was probably about, I don't know, 13 or 14 at the time. I don't think I bought it. I think I probably just got given it for Christmas or something, or for a birthday or something at some point, and I'd forgotten, or maybe one of my brothers had it, and it's very influential on my drawing style. And it's weird how I've got this collection of books that influenced me bigly when I was learning to draw and teaching myself how to do various, but books that I didn't actually buy, and I don't really know where they came from. And, you know, Mama Fox and Papa Fox don't really remember buying it for me or for anybody. I had one of the books that was a big influence on colouring was... Now, the subject matter is rubbish. It's like a comic book version of Eric von Daniken's Of Gods and Men, Chariots of the Gods. And, of course, it's all complete bullshit. Eric von Daniken was a complete nut job. And it's all nonsense. But... doesn't really matter. The point was it was a series of graphic novels based on that, and the artwork in that again was very, very interesting design of artwork. It was very interestingly drawn, and that was quite an influence in my ink and colour and ink style, my inking style. And again, that just turned up one day. I just remember seeing it on the settee, and I'm like, I didn't buy that one. I don't know where it came from. And you know, I never bought myself when I was a smaller child, I never bought myself any Tintin books. But like Tintin and Asterix books just appeared around the house, and nobody remembers ever buying them. And they were massive influences on me, enormous influences. You know, Hergé's Tintin was an absolute perfect example of that ligne claire, clear line, ligne claire style. Beautifully crisp, carefully drawn lines, and lots of technical expertise when he drew things like vehicles and planes and stuff. Oh, God. And Asterix, amazing. All massive influences. Tintin for the, you know, Hergé for the ligne claire style and the crisp, clear, precise drawing, and you know, Goscinny and Uderzo with Asterix was more for the flowy brush style of that's a very Belgian style of drawing. That was an influence on how I'd inked with brushes, and also it was a big influence on my sense of humour. Things like Asterix, massive influence on my sense of humour. These Romans are crazy. Asterix books taught me how to do puns and wordplay. I wouldn't have known otherwise. Very weird. I had a very strange childhood. Right, I think we're done. A couple of rivets I'll need to replace when I've got these pauldrons on. So we'll do the pauldroniums first. The only graphic novel type stuff that I bought myself with my own money through choice that was an influence on me was some of the Canardo books by Benoit Sokal, another Belgian bande dessinée artist. They were a big, massive influence as well. There's one called in English it's called Blue Angel. And there's one called Shabby Dog Story, but Blue Angel was when he was at the top of his game with that particular comic book series. Yeah, that was a very, very influential to me, on me, of me, for me. I don't know the phrase, really. I've got to make sure I get these pauldrons. I did one yesterday and got the pauldrons completely the wrong way around. I apologise if I'm off camera or not in the right place. But it's funny how, like, you know, how many people have never heard of, say, things like Canardo. Les enquêtes d'Inspecteur Canardo. He's basically a duck, an alcoholic, deadbeat duck who doesn't really care about anything anymore. It's very film noir. It's very good. All goodliness. Right, we've got to do the pauldron on top of the other pauldron now. And apologies if all you're seeing is the back of my hand, like some 1970s northern kid's mother slapping the... I see the back of my hand. I'll give you the back of my hand. That's the phrase. I'll see if I can. I'm probably in the loft somewhere. One day I'll see if I can find that Scooby-Doo annual and take some pictures of it. And again, it's not the kind of thing that you'd normally... It's the kind of thing you'd have as a kid and throw away because it's just a silly annual. But the artwork was outstanding. The artwork truly was incredible. The art quality of it for a silly children's... The artist had gone to a great deal of trouble to make these beautifully clear bits of art. It's incredible. Like a full-page splash of the gang in a beach buggy, and it was beautifully drawn. It was like incredibly technically. It looked exactly like the beach buggy that actually exists. I think it was a Baja bug. No, it wasn't a Baja bug. It looked exactly like the real thing anyway. It was that good. It's a bit high up that. A bit low down, I mean. The Pauldronians from Pauldromar. I can't glue in my left hand, but I can't use my right hand because it's either on camera or off camera. I apologise if I'm nowhere in shot. It's really hard to do things when you're an idiot. Not really an excuse, is it? Yeah. Yeah, if you've never built Terminators before, it's kind of really hard to figure out where these pauldrons are supposed to go into relation to each other. Just based on the instructions in the box artwork. It's quite tricky. It's quite tricky, you know. But we shall get there in the end. Don't you worry. I feel like he's about to break into a sand dance. Where's Wilson, Keppel and Betty when you need them? Right, so that's got some glue on it. It's a bit rough and ready, but it does have the tilting shield to go on there. Now the head, he is kind of turning to his left. He's walking that way, but he's turning that way. So now the really tricky bit is getting the head to turn around because it's quite a tight fit. I think he should be looking to his right, or to his left, our right. So there we go. So that'll put the head on there. Oh, I haven't actually cleaned the head up yet, you dingus. Dingus! distinguishability. If there's actually even a mould line on there, there might not be. There is very, very faint mould line, almost imperceptible. Do 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 do. They've done some very good mould line work on these. The actual areas where the moulds are, the actual mould lines, is very well thought out. They've done a good job. I have to commend them on that. Like on these guys, it's just a line that goes down the back there. It's very easy to remove. And I've got to say, the quality of the mouldings, because this is like the latest thing. This is their newest release. So, which means this whole thing was probably built and designed, and the moulds were probably made a couple of years ago. Because you have to remember that when we get kits from Games Workshop, we're about 2 years behind. You know, when the kit comes out, they didn't make the moulds like 6 months ago. These things have been made in plastic for like probably about 2 years. And, you know, they've been with the painting team and all that kind of stuff. So we are about 2 years behind, if I remember rightly. So I can imagine what future things are going to be like, because this is like the mould. They are mould. It's exceptional. The quality is just getting better and better every year. Now there is a bit of a gluey mess on that lower pauldron that I made there, I admit, but that can be easily sanded and cleaned up once it's got primer and stuff on it. So I can't put a rivet on there yet because I'll sand the rivet off. Although I do need to stick a tilting plate on it anyway, and that will actually cover most of it up. Didn't leave myself a lot of space for a tilting plate. I'm a habba hibba hibba doo 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 diddly bomb diddly bomb diddly bomb. Didn't leave myself any space for the tilting plate. Oh well. Well, that should actually cover most of that. Actually, will actually cover most of that up. So let's just. I'll give it a very light fettle, just very, very delicate. I don't recommend doing this if you don't know what you're doing. Very light fettle, just to smooth away some of the glow up from the glue. Should really leave it longer, but it's not so bad. Trust me, I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing, and I've just lost my tilting sheet. Where's me? There it is. There you are. This is where it gets tricky now, you see. It's going to be a little bit tricky here to get this shield on. They are quite fiddly because they sit on the lower pauldron. But they're quite hard to actually control because you've only got a little tiny stub to stick them on with. It's quite tricky here. There we go. Down a little bit further might be better. I'm using the thick glue because it gives me a bit of space to manoeuvre. It's not perfect. It's terrible. For some reason, I've got in my head. Oh, I missed. Ilya's theme from the original Star Trek: The Motion Picture. I do not know why. Do not ask me why, for I do not know. Well, it could be the actual Enterprise theme, I'm not sure. It's slow, melodic, very slow, mellifluous piece of music with lots of strings. I think that will suffice. So once that's dried and that glue's taken hold, I can very gently sand that pauldron, the lower pauldron, a little bit, and smooth it down where the glue's splodged up, and then put them rivets back on. So I must remember to do that. I can put one rivet on the right one though, because I can do that now. Or, as it was known at the time, Star Trek: The Motionless Picture. Yeah. Where did that rivet go? There. I appreciate I'm off camera. I'm always off camera. You wouldn't have me any other way. Get that on there. They're not exactly the same size, but they're close enough that they'll trick the eye. Trick the casual observer. Right, so that concludes that specific Termy. Now what I might do, like I say, once I've got everybody built, all the Terminators and all the remaining Space Marines, and the well, not the tank, but once I've got all the figures built, what I'll do is I'll go back with my little tiny collection of bits and bobs and see what I can stick there. I may kind of restrict them mostly to the Terminators, because these are big chunky armour and they kind of look better with things on them. That is such a kind of comedy monster pose. I do the mash! I do the monster mash! But yes. Colin's in, Fest67's workshop. Hey Colin, big hugs. Hello, 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 hello. Hello my friend. How you doing, buddy? Nice to see you. I've just seen the chat now. Big hugs to you, Colin. Mama Fox sends lots and lots of hugs to you. Everybody's saying hello to Colin. Box Fox says, I'll be honest, I don't clean mould lines much unless they're super aggressive. It's a good habit to get into. Because there's nothing worse than spending, like, you know, tens and tens and tens of hours on a paint job only to then finish it and then realise there's a dirty great big mould line. I mean, you don't have to, but it's one of those things that you should eventually get used to doing, just to up your game, level up your game a little bit. Oh, quite cool, that. And I did of course my little Colin. I did some bits to them dudes, the bits on that bit there and that bit. I did that. Look, I did it. Oh, yes, I did that, and I added that. Look to there. When I say added that, I just mean I glued it on. It's just plonked on there with a bit of glue. But hey, it's good for me. That's good for me. It's a step forward for me. Big hugs to you, Colin. Right, but anyway, Colin, let me know if you want to do a thingy tonight. We can do if you want to. You probably shouldn't. You probably should chill out. But let me know if you want to do a thingy tonight. I can always come back on. It's only 11 o'clock. But I think we shall leave it there. Lovely to see you, Colin, in chat, even if it's only briefly. I think we shall leave it there. I've only built me one dude, but I'll crack on with these again tomorrow. All being well tomorrow, I'll be back at 5 o'clock tomorrow, as normal. So the only reason I did this one late is because I had to do some blood tests and stuff at hospital, so I couldn't really do a 5 o'clock stream. All being well, though, I shall be back tomorrow at 5 o'clock. I won't be playing Cyberpunk. I will be carrying on with this. I've stopped the video games bits just while I'm trying to get this build done. So for now, we're doing buildy on the live streams. So I'll be back hopefully tomorrow at 5 o'clock. If it's not 5 o'clock, I'll let you know. Don't worry. But in the meantime, I shall say thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, of course, if you're new to this channel and you don't already, please do consider helping support the channel by becoming a patron or a channel member. You can go to patreon.com/modelmakingguru, the address there, and become a patron, or you can just press the join button under any one of my videos and become a channel member. Either way, you're helping to support this channel, helping keep it alive. You're literally paying my bills for me. I use the money I earn from this to live off, basically. It's what I do for a living. So you're literally helping me stay in business, keeping this channel alive. So big thank you to them. Don't forget, of course, if you can't do that, don't worry. You can always just make sure you like and subscribe. And if you can't support financially, there is one way you can help any channel, not just mine, but any channel. Make sure you watch the advert. Turn off your ad blocker and watch the adverts on the channels of your favourite video creators. It helps them earn some income and it keeps their channels alive. So, you know, you can do that. If you're not able to be a patron or a channel member, just consider watching the adverts before my videos. It really helps out massively. But make sure to like and subscribe. But yes, I shall be back tomorrow. Until then, I will say, take care of yourselves. Go make something awesome. Go be awesome. If Colin's doing a stream tonight, I'll see you in a bit. If not, probably not. If not, I'll see you tomorrow. But until then, take care of yourselves. Go make something awesome. I've just done that bit. I've got a hang on. I've got to press my buttons. Hang on. I forgot to press my buttons. Right. Take care of yourself. Go make something awesome. I've done this before. Go make something awesome. Go be awesome. And until then, I really need to wee. Oh. Do you know when you said oh? Right. Go make something awesome. Go be awesome. And until next, I just put my finger on my blade as well. Knife safety. Right. I'm going. Bye. Adios, me bed. Bye.